The Scene projects are brought to you by these fine sponsors: Cliff Avenue Upholstery and Restoration, Chevy Girl Advertising and Booking, Sunny Radio, and SiouxFallsPodcast.com. Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is JMO from JMO on the Beat. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hey, man. Well, you're from the Twin Cities. It says St. Paul in your bio. Before we get too far down, why don't you give us all a little backstory? Who is JMO?
Well, JMO is my artist name. My real name is Jamie. I'm a singer-songwriter, musician, born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota. Been here my whole life, really. I'm 24 years old, and the music I usually do is like a blend of 50s, early 60s rock and roll and indie. And I usually play either by myself as a soloist or with my band, the J Lighters. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, that's great. So we got a unique sound. Not a lot of 24-year-olds playing indie 50s, 60s rock style. I'm already intrigued. So is it kind of like surf rock, or is it kind of like rockabilly, or which 50s and 60s are we leaning?
Oh, we do like a little bit of everything, really, with my band. I would say, like, with my original music, I think I'll probably lean a mix towards maybe rockabilly, like the whatever they used to call pop music back then.
Yeah, your Buddy Hollies and
like Elvis Presley's, Little Richard, stuff like that.
Right.
I'll say, like, yeah, our performance style usually resonates around artists like them. There's some of my main influences. Otherwise, like, there's definitely some modern artists that I listen to a lot, like Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, etc.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about the music. Just music and culture these days is that we've all grown up with all of the classics, right? I'm much older than you. I'm 38. But you grew up with all the great music that I grew up with and then some, right? Where as you get older, I tuned out a lot of the aughts, past 2008, 2009, very little of pop culture is getting into me. Right. But, I grew up on classic rock. Grunge was real big when I was a young kid. And then it got real into boy bands when I was, coming of age. Right. Will Smith was huge when I was maybe like 11, 12 years old. And then it was the age of NSYNC and Backstreet and Britney. And that pretty much dominated, pop culture for well into my high school. Right. I don't even know, like, are there any contemporary influences for you in in like your today's music? Who's the big pop stars now? I'm not even aware.
Oh,
Bruno would be up there,
Bruno's
obviously, but
Bruno's definitely up there right now as of now. I'll say like another young artist who's kind of doing the same thing like me in a sense, but he's definitely been popping. His name is Steven Sanchez. He's definitely been like bringing the 50s, early 60s sound to like a younger audience, and he's really been doing such a great job lately with it. Who else I could think of right now? There's Sabrina Carpenter. She's a really great singer in my opinion.
Right. Well, and I feel like I feel like because indie music has become, the rise of the internet, the fact that Spotify just crushed the record industry, right, and streaming in general, it's led us all to a lot of smaller artists. All the people that influence me are the people that are just around me in my local scene. And obviously us here in South Dakota, we have a much different environment than you do up there, just in the fact that there's a lot more venues, there's a lot more people, right? There's a lot of different influences up there. What is your experience, I guess, kind of being one of our few, our few guests from that area? What's your experience in the St. Paul and kind of Twin Cities music scene for your style of music?
With my style of music, I'll definitely say like I think every artist feels this way. Like they feel kind of underestimated a little bit. especially like with the rockabilly blues music that I sometimes play with my band. We usually don't like book too often, and when we do, it's either like with close friends, people that like I look up to a lot in the music scene in general, and it's always a good time regardless. And I am hoping to collaborate more in terms of shows and even like music projects with musicians that do like other genres like pop, maybe even rap or something like that. I don't know, but
Right.
it's always like a curious time of just like hanging around with like different musicians. I'm always going out to different shows and stuff, and always exploring like the different musics here and there. I met like a lot of friends this way, and yeah, I'm just lucky, really.
And that's how you do it. And let me tell you, JMO, when I was your age and I was out on the West Coast, all over Portland, and being out there and being in a scene, right? I was absorbing all kinds of different things, going to the late night parties with dance music or going to bluegrass festivals all weekend. I was really getting a piece of all of it. And that might be the one thing in South Dakota that we don't have because of the lack of population, right? Is that we don't get, there's not an inundation of it, but that also leaves us that we actually get paid very well as musicians to go out and perform because of that lack of other artists, right? Because of that lack of saturation, we actually have quite a few good playing gigs. So a lot of us down here are busy playing shows almost every single weekend of the year. And sometimes that keeps us from being able to collaborate and go see other people and absorb other stuff and let that affect us how we should, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never knew that. I usually sometimes think like certain places are kind of the same, but I'm always also being told that like it's always good to kind of go out of the cities, try out different places, see what their environment's like for shows and stuff, which I'm hoping to do maybe in the next year or so.
Well, and that's what I think is the biggest difference between, working out here in, South Dakota or just small towns. I was the same way. Getting farther outside of the city, I think, is the same way, talking with my friends in Minnesota as well. But there's definitely places that are willing to pay, several $100s for people to play, right? The problem is just like getting out of the city ends up costing you all of that. Right. And for us, it's hard for us to get into this city because when my band goes out and plays, and I'm not necessarily like the upper echelon, I don't consider myself of bands around here, but I'm making $1,000 to $1,500 a night. When I go to play in the cities, they're like, well, we can get you like, $300 and a tab for the whole band. And when you're, considering cost of travel and all of those things, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're trying to like bridge this gap. Part of what the Scene Projects is all about is that I have all of these awesome connections to the good gigs and all of these super talented people in South Dakota that want to get up and play in the cities. And then I'm starting to meet all of these people up in the cities that are like, God, I wish we could make some money playing gigs. And it's like, well, can you help us out? So what are some of the places that, you're playing with your friends and that you're hanging out in, just so some of our listeners who are the artists that are kind of in our group as well, where can they go to start to dig in, to kind of look for a scene that's outside of, the hometown?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if I'm being fair, like I only started recently going out to cities. I'll say like a little under a year or so. Otherwise, like some places here in the cities are pretty fun, pretty fair. Like the White Squirrel Bar, downtown St. Paul is like a really nice spot. Like I'll definitely recommend like any artist who's outside Minnesota, probably play there during the weekend or something like that. There's also like one of my favorite venues, the Eagles Club in Minneapolis. The Booker Dan, he's been like a real good friend of mine, always helping me out like with shows and stuff like that. And it's been a real blast just always playing over there and meeting different musicians, meeting new friends and stuff like that. Otherwise, I'll say outside the cities, I'll say like there is Northfield, for example. That's where my sax player is from. we only went there 2 times on 2 different occasions, but like every time we go over there, it's just a blast. The people over there are nice. They have like a couple venues here and there too, but like it's always like a good time because the community gets together and yeah, like they're real. I'll say wholesome and everything. Yeah.
And I think that's the experience as you get farther out into like our small towns and the area out here is that it's kind of the same bar, right? It's just on repeat a lot of times. It's the same kind of venue. You can play the same songs, and it's not to degrade that at all, but you can go repeat your experience and to go into these new places to meet these new friends and to play the same show because they've never seen it before. And they're always very appreciative of it. So part of what a big part of the Scene projects, and that's just the name that I put to what I've been doing for years, right? Connecting people, trading gigs, whatever you want to call it. So we're kind of the pay it forward gang, right? We're going to blast you. We'll bring you down here. We have a Thursday series, the Songwriter Showcase that we feature. We tape it live for the podcast and then put it out there. So you're able to share some of your songs with our podcast listeners. And then you have it for yourself as well, right? Like that's your content as well. And that's what we're trying to really turn people onto is like, it's not just about our podcast. It's about like, hey, you have 4 or 5 of your acoustic songs now recorded and you can share that with your friends to introduce your music to them. So especially for people that maybe don't have the studio yet and they don't have all of these things, or you got a brand new song that you're just trying to get out there, we have an outlet for that, right? So, and when this catches on, right, and it might take a lot of time for that to eventually catch on, but when it does, I think it's really powerful. So we're able to bring you down and put you on and find you some other gigs and do that. So if you want to come to South Dakota, Jamie, consider it done, buddy.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I'd love to at some point.
Yeah. So you got a big week next week coming up. We're taping this the first week of November here. I see November 15th. You got a new release coming out. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So the new song that I'm going to be releasing is called "She Don't Got It All." It's actually going to be like the first actual rock and roll song that me and my group are going to be releasing. My friend Marty Lee, he was the producer behind it. It was kind of like our first project together because we always wanted to start something together. And he's a really nice guy. Like he has like a really cool work ethic and everything. And we've been working on this song like the whole year. And I'm happy that it's finally gonna get released. And with the song itself, it's pretty much like sort of like a energetic anthem, like a 50s anthem of like a girl who believes like she can get away with like, breaking hearts, not ever being the cause of like anyone's heartbreak and stuff like that. And even like with friendships and stuff, like she has fake friends around her, she just doesn't care, but I'm trying to call her out on it and stuff like that.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I can't wait to hear She Don't Got It All. That's coming out November 15th. Spotify, everywhere, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's great. And then it looks like you're throwing a party to celebrate. November 16th at the Thesis Beer Project. I like that place already. Rochester, Minnesota. You guys are having a little release party there with some friends of yours.
Yeah, 2 local bands here in the Twin Cities. The Grieving Pines, they do like a Southern rock style, and then Excelsior, they're more of like a Midwest indie group, I'll say.
That's awesome, man. Any tickets for that?
It'll be I think it's like a $5 door cover over there.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely make sure to get all the links in the show notes and definitely help you promote that show. Can't wait to hear the song. You're going to be sharing some more songs with us as well. December 15th, the Scene Projects are heading up to the Twin Cities for the first time. We're recording a whole marathon of songwriter showcases, and JMO, you're going to be one of them. You excited?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
Well, and we got some great friends of ours in the scene up there too, that you might not know yet. So even just as a mingle event, I would suggest anybody that's listening that's going to be in the Twin Cities December 15th, come see us at the Midway Saloon. It's going to be a great time there in St. Paul. Looks like a cool venue. You ever been into the Midway Saloon?
Oh yeah, a few times. Yeah, I had like I think 2-3 gigs over there. It's always a good time over there.
That's all. Oh no, did I cut you off?
Oh, sorry. I was saying that it's always a good time over there.
Yeah, well, and I hope so. So I got a buddy up in Minneapolis, one of my a new friend, but has become a real important person in my life, Alec Glauvitz. He has Coffee Break Entertainment in the Twin Cities there. And that's kind of
yeah, I know Alec. Yeah, we're good friends.
Well, and it seems like everybody knows Alec.
He's definitely been getting around.
Well, and he's been doing some big things. So I met him because of Clayton Ryan, who's been a new injection into the scene the last few years up there. And he's you just friends of friends, right? And that's how this whole thing grows. The scene and the networks that we all build, it just keeps growing and it just keeps getting better, JMO. And now you're a part of that too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, man, we appreciate you reaching out, taking a chance on us. I mean, we're nobody to you, right? You're taking a chance to, put your name and put your energy into what we're doing. So we really appreciate it, man. Anything else you want to shout out before we take off?
No, really. I mean, I'm just thankful to the Twin City community for letting me do my thing for, I'll say like about 7 years now. And, I'm happy to be part of the showcase that's happening next month. And, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, we appreciate your grateful attitude, man. It's great to see the young people in the scene really doing it and putting a lot of energy into it. So I can't wait to meet you in person. Remember, everybody, we got November 15th. She Don't Got It All. Is it JMO on the Beat?
Yeah.
So the JMO on the Beat is how you can find them. We'll have links in the show notes and everything, guys. So make sure you're checking that out. And then 11/16, that's November 16th at the Thesis Beer Project in Rochester, Minnesota. We got 3 great bands just hanging out, making some music, and enjoying each other's company and celebrating a release, man. That's a big thing. I'm proud of you, brother.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, I released my first one last year, and being 37, it probably had a little bit more oomph behind it. But congratulations to you, sir. We're all very proud of you and very happy for you. So enjoy the release next week, and then get on to the next one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for listening. Remember to follow the Scene Projects on all your social media channels and get even more content at thesceneprojects.com.
No other to pour that love on me like water. Got an ocean full of love that's made for two.